Welcome everybody to another motocross action video. I'm Josh Mosiman, and this time we are testing a pro circuit built Yamaha YZ125 two-stroke. This is the 2023 model. If you guys remember, this bike was all new in 2022. Got an updated engine, updated bodywork, and this thing is pretty exotic looking. The YZ125 is one of our favorite bikes. It's just simple, easy to ride, and just so much fun to hold wide open around the track. Now this is a YZ125 engine. It's not a 134 or a 150 like you would see here at the World Two-Stroke Championship at Glen Helen in those 125 open classes that Pasha puts on. This is a 125 spec engine, something that an amateur rider can buy and take to Loretta Lynn's and be competitive on. So Pro Circuit threw the works at this bike, and we're excited to test it and tell you all about it in this video. All right guys, epic track today, and this YZ125 sounded amazing with Ezra Lewis riding the bike today. Ezra is one of our test riders. We call him the most stylish MX8 test rider, and luckily he's the same size and build as me, so today I made him wear my jersey with my name and number on it, and he definitely helped me look good. I can speak with authority in this video. I have already tested this bike with Pro Circuit and with Schneike. Schneike, Mike Tomlin, he worked for Geico Honda, he worked for Factory Honda with Justin Barsha for many years. He stayed with Justin Barsha from the time he turned pro up until he left Factory Honda to go to JGR, and so he's got a lot of time in the pro ranks. Now he's the R&D technician at Pro Circuit, helping them come up with pipes, modifications for customers, and he really builds the race spec that you can buy and take to Loretta Lynn's, take to Mammoth, take to the World Vet Championships, and he's also been building my World Two-Stroke bikes that I've been racing the last few years, Gas 150 that we've got some videos of. This bike, I helped him also with the other guy, Dino, over at Pro Circuit. Dino and Schneike were working on this bike. They're working on some different mapping with the Get ECU on this bike, also working with jetting, but basically this is a race spec YZ125 motor, something that if you're a fast amateur and you're going to Loretta Lynn's, you're going to want to have this bike in the Schoolboy 1 class or the 125 BC classes. The YZ125 is known for being a great transition bike, moving from 85 Super Mini up to the big bike ranks. We're super thankful that Yamaha continues to make YZ125s and YZ252 strokes. Yamaha is the only Japanese manufacturer to continue producing two-strokes. They updated this bike all new in 2022, and that's why we're testing this bike today, because this is the race spec engine that Pro Circuit built for this bike with the updated engine that came last year. So this is a 2023 model, but it's exactly the same as the 22 with that updated engine. As for the overall chassis of the bike, the skeleton, the frame, it's all the same as it's been since 2005. The forks are the same they've been since 2006 when Kayaba added the SSS suspension on these Yamaha YZ two-strokes. So great platform, super fun bike to ride. You feel like a hero on the track, as I mentioned that multiple times today. What Pro Circuit did, they went all out on the engine, and they also went all out on the suspension, and they gave us a price sheet of everything they did to this bike, adding up the clutch cover, adding up the tires, adding up the $200 in MRXO2 fuel from VP Racing, adding up the graphics, the seat covers, the whole price for this bike with all the mods that we added onto it, $3,700. So they really threw the works at this thing. But diving into the engine spec, obviously they had to run the Pro Circuit Works pipe. They also added the Tie 2 Kevlar R304 Shorty silencer. So what it is, the R304 silencer is a standard silencer that Pro Circuit makes for their two-strokes. Awesome sounding silencer, but it's made of stainless steel. This Kevlar silencer is titanium, carbon, and Kevlar mixed all through in, much lighter, and obviously it looks exotic as well. They port and polished the cylinder and head. Mitch Payton himself worked on this thing. They also added the Pro Circuit YZ125 RV piston, the Ryan Villapoto spec piston that they came up with when Ryan was racing this bike in the all-star races that they had, the 125 exhibition races at the Nationals. They also added the Get ECU and ignition, and they remapped that. And other than that, they added some VP MRXO2 fuel and twin air filter for this thing. So that's pretty much all they did as far as the power goes. Diving into the suspension, they revalved the forks and shock, and they also added the Pro Circuit linkage arm on this. They extended the link arm from 145 to 146.5 mil, just a little bit longer arm. They said it helps stiffen up the initial feel of the shock and just add to maybe just more of the race feel of the YZ125. So all right guys, so Ezra Lewis, he really is a YZ125 rider at heart. I remember when I first met this guy, he was riding YZ125s full time, and I was super impressed with his speed and style. He's only gotten better since then, and now he's racing 450 Nationals with us. He raced the two-stroke National just a couple weeks ago wearing an orange helmet for the MX8 Wrecking Crew. Ezra, what was it like for you? You've been riding 450s, you rode the KTM 300 fuel-injected bike at the World Two-Stroke Championship. Now we stick you on this bike. You rode it back-to-back with the stock YZ125. What was that feeling like hopping on a full race 125?
Man, I love the YZ125s, and like you said, I have a lot of experience riding them in stock form. It's kind of deceiving because I feel like a local hero riding those things. I feel like I'm going so fast. I actually felt faster on the stock bike, but when we compared the lap times, it was pretty noticeable that this one was a lot quicker. But hopping on it right away, it kind of caught me by surprise because I was coming out of the corners and I almost couldn't control it. I never thought I'd say that about a YZ125, but when I'd get on the power band, it would kind of just go out of control, and I had to learn how to ride it smoother and be more efficient with it. But once I started getting used to it, it got a little bit easier. I started using it to my advantage. But man, going up the hills at Glen Helen on this thing sounded really good, and yeah, I think you could hear it echoing through all the mountains here. So, and the track was amazing today. We got overcast, all the lines were good. Got to open it up and kind of just let it sing through all the turns. It was hard to get it in the tighter corners because I wanted to stay on the gas, and it was hard to stay in the meat of the power everywhere. But when it was up in that mid to top range, it was going really good. So if I could have kept it there all day, I think I could have dropped my time even more, but really impressed with how good the power was in the top range.
So this is the updated 2023 YZ125. As I mentioned, last year this bike was all new. Updated engine was the big thing. They also updated the bodywork. So the seat is flatter, it's a little bit taller in the midsection, more of a modern feel, where the previous YZ125s, the ones that Ezra used to ride and used to own, had more of a banana seat that dipped down a little bit lower. The suspension was also made a little bit stiffer spring rates and valving on the bone stock bike that Ezra rode today. So the stock one's stiffer, but this one's revalved for us. What did you think about the difference between the two today?
Yeah, there's definitely a noticeable difference. Right when I hopped on it, I felt like there's a lot better hold up coming in the corners, coming down the hill. I didn't have to worry about it diving on me ever or bottoming out. So had a lot better hold up, and I was able to push it harder into the corners, which is, for me as a pro rider, that's what you're looking for. And it's definitely a big advantage just having that confidence coming down the hill and not having to worry about it doing anything funny. So for me, I definitely liked it more than the stock valving.
So Ezra was 2 seconds faster on this bike than he was on our stock YZ125, and Dennis Stapleton also rode it today, and he reported back that basically both bikes have small power bands, but the stock bike, the power band is positioned a little bit lower in the RPM curve, so when you get on the gas coming out of corners, it picks up a little bit smoother and easier. It's just a little more rider friendly, definitely better for a novice rider. This engine is made for an intermediate, pro, somebody who's going to go race top level at Loretta's, like I mentioned, Schoolboy 1 class. This is made for the guy who's ready to ride the clutch and hold it high in the RPMs. And additionally, because the track had so much traction today and so much moisture, you're not breaking it loose in the corners as much, which causes you to kind of suck down the RPMs and get more traction, and really makes it harder to ride a two-stroke on a track like this. Traditional Glen Helen, a little more skatey, easier to keep the two-strokes in the higher RPM range. I think Ezra would get even faster on this thing if he spent more time on it, and that 2 seconds would bump up to 3 and 4. The rule is, first lap, that's your lap time, you can't redo it. So 1 lap on the stock bike, 1 lap on this bike, and that's what we got, a full 2 seconds. Lots of fun. I got to ride it, like I said, a couple months ago when we were working on this package. Now we finally have it here with the beautiful Pro Circuit graphics, and it was a lot of fun for Ezra to ride, and fun for me just to watch him enjoy this bike on an epic track today at Glen Helen. We have tons of information on motocrossactionmag.com, our website, and be sure to subscribe to Motocross Action Magazine. $25 for the year. You get it shipped to your front door once a month, and you also get a free $25 e-gift card to Rocky Mountain ATV MC online to shop with there. So it's a win-win. Check us out there. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.